Directors of the Eastern Regional Service Board. I will now call the meeting to order and the adoption of the agenda. So moved. Second by Larry. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary, carried. Review of the minutes are there in your binders or tablets. Be it resolved that the minutes of the June 26, 2025 meeting be adopted as table. So moved. Second by Sandy. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary, carried. Board expenditures are there for your review. Any questions on those? There are none. Be resolved that the board adopts the expenditures for the months of June and July as table. So moved. Second by Glenn. All those in favor? Contrary, carried. Incorporated Town Payments Activity Report is there. Are there any questions? It's all in good standing, I think. Everybody's paying their bills. Good to hear. The fee schedule is there for 2026 in your binder. At this point in time, I would like to invite Andrew, our special guest, Andrew Niblock, Director of Environmental Services for City of St. John's. So welcome, Andrew. If anybody who doesn't know Andrew, it's Andrew Niblock down at the end of the table. And Andrew, this is everybody at the board and their name for from. So if you so you know who they are, we can figure that out. So as part of our fee schedule, we actually coordinate closely with the City of St. John's and Robin Hood Bay facility because we have a sort of a kissing cousins relationship with them. And they set the tip fees and other fees for Robin Hood Bay facility. We meet with them and agree or disagree, and usually we agree. Or disagree, but yeah, so I know Andrew, you put a lot of hard work and effort into it, and we thank you for that. And that's what sets our rates then for the rest of our operations. And that's how we operate our facilities, is with the tip fees from the Robin Hood Bay facility. And so there's a brief note in your binder. So you will note that the tip fees for Robin Hood Bay for I guess garbage waste and recycling is going up around 2%, which is basically cost of living. It's a reasonable amount. You know, nobody ever likes to see it go up, but unfortunately, the cost of everything is going up through heavy equipment, fuel, staff, labor, insurance. Everything has gone up. So we in conjunction with the City of St. John's went 2%. So that's actually not too bad.
Steve?
Yeah.
Just, I think there's a typo there, because it says the tip fee for recyclables will increase $32.50 per ton. I guess it's $232.
$232.50 per ton, yeah. So, yeah, thank you for noting that. And we'll correct that in the minutes.
Thank you.
So, Andrew, I don't know if you want to just quickly talk about how you arrived there, or if you want to have any, or you want to take some questions, or anybody has questions, or we'll do the question part first. Is there any questions for regarding tip fees and Robin Bay, or how they arrive at that number?
Up to the last fees for comparisons.
So
$92.
$92.50. And it's now $94.50, so $2 a ton basically. Yeah. And those are in effect April 1st, 2026. Yeah. So Andrew, I'll give you a minute or two, or we'll buy, or we either,
Yeah,
or not.
So essentially, like, you know, back in around 2019 or 2020, I believe, the board adopted really approach of using CPI as one of the tools for increasing activity on a regular basis. That was adopted because there was a time when the board wasn't doing that, and it was falling behind on covering the cost of the operation of Robin Hood Bay. So again, we had to go to a kind of a radical increase, which people really did not know.
Yeah.
And so we took this more gradual approach, but we don't just automatically do it, though. I will say that we do look at the budget. We do forecast for what we plan to see for the next year, and which isn't easy. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a fair sized operation. And it has a few numbers and budgets involved with it, and there's a lot of forecasting. But what we are forecasting, we are going to see similar tonnages to what we've seen in 2024 for 2025. The CBN fires and stuff may adjust that a little bit, but we'll have to see it when that progresses, what happens there. But and we just look at our operations, and Steve mentioned their costs for anything that are still increasing quite a bit, especially when it comes to some contractual work. And we're seeing those increases, but we're absorbing it, and we're pretty well keeping tip fees equal with what we, the cost of things. So, we're not making loads of money, but we are covering our costs.
Thank you for that. Any questions?
So you referenced the CDN fires, I know with Fiona out on the west coast, there's a significant increase in haulings.
Yes.
So you do anticipate that being extra revenue, or do you think that we'll have to absorb it from a provincial point of view? How do you think that'll play out? I don't know what happened on the west coast.
The West Coast, I will say, one thing that's a bit different is that our volumes are a lot higher than they which we see out there, right? So it's not gonna be as an impactful, no, I don't think, but we don't know yet. This is really actually probably the first one that we've experienced, at least that I've experienced, with regards to fires east and east side of the province. So, we have been talking with other jurisdictions about what they've seen. They've dealt with Fort McMurray as an example, much larger disasters, I guess, as far as what volumes go. Not saying that ours is any less of a disaster, but as far as volumes of waste go, there's a difference. But we do anticipate there's gonna be obviously some increase of stuff that comes in. And so that would be some increased revenue, but it does come in.
So there's no circumstance where the province asks us to orbit or something. What happened? Something happened on the west coast. Something happened on the west coast that I don't think it flowed through it.
They paid over the west coast.
They pay for all the.
All waste going into the west coast, North Arm was tip fee.
I guess the insurance companies will pay. Probably.
I don't know how all that goes, but I mean, we just act the same as they always do.
Yep.
We just charge whatever breaks the anyone.
So, Tom, I don't know if you further up to that, like, I know Christie's spent all weekend, 2 15-hour days, Saturday and Sunday, working on all of this, so I know that we are coordinating through the government emergency service. Where they declared a state of emergency, some of that stuff will be covered under federal money, some will probably be covered under provincial money. Either way, I think right now, we're sort of eating this, supposed to it right now, and I guess we'll straighten it up at some point in time. Either through tip fees for the city of St. John's, or hopefully get some of our money back.
Disaster relief from.
Yeah. Like right now, we're just covering it all just to sort of make sure this flows happen, happens goes.
Trying to assist the communities to get things out as quickly as possible. We're worried about the money.
Any other questions for Mr. Nidlock? Larry?
Mr. Chair, yeah, so, I mean, we look at this, we see 33.50 for recycle, we see 94.50 for garbage disposal, it's essentially 1/3, of the cost, to do recyclables, and the message here, of course, is let's recycle more, right, let's recycle more, that includes small towns, large towns, cities, right across the board, that's the message here, that's the message we should be delivering.
100%. We'll note too that our tip fees here at Robin Bay are like the lowest in Eastern Canada. I think Andrew will probably know better than I would, but I know like some of the tip fees when you get across the to the other side of the pond there in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick is double and triple what we're charging for let's say household garbage. So we're not by any stretch of the imagination making profit on any of this stuff. So I will say this, I was down on Saturday down to Robin Bay, drop off the branches from some trees I had there. And it's an amazing facility. You're doing a great job down there, and congratulations to you and your staff. The compost, if anybody doesn't know, they have a huge compost pile there that's free for the taking. And there was a line of people there putting buckets in their car. I went down, dropped off my branches. There was a few, other folks there dropping off branches, and they mulched it up into mulch and use around the city. So it's and as somebody said to me this morning, you can go down with your dress shoes on and walk up to the bin and throw it in, and you don't get too dirty. So it's well run. So congratulations to you and your team on that. Thank you.
That compost, is that for St. John's residents only, or is it for anybody?
Anybody else?
Right.
And there's a lot of it there. I was surprised. There was truckload.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of it, so it's been very, it has been very successful.
Yeah.
So, it's been steady going,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, we're amazed by how much people are taking.
Yeah, no, it's a good program. It's good to see people taking advantage of it too, so.
But that's that compost, that's there now since May or June.
Yeah.
Like, so that's there for the last 4 months.
Yep.
Right, so like, this is, it's a program that the biggest catch that.
And that's what it'll be, the same as well as our yard waste. May through November, we'll have it available, and then in the winter, it won't be available.
Yep.
You'll just get annoying.
Should make one.
So clear.
Or you take all the leaves and put it there in the winter?
We'll still be composting, Like, we don't accept yard, well, people brought in yard, take it, but, we won't be giving it away, that's all.
Good stuff. Any other questions? Hearing none. Sorry, I do know Ophelia and Kevin and Greg are there on the online. Yep. I think Kevin's their iPad too, and Greg is phone symbol. Welcome to the meeting, guys. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
No questions.
No questions. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for the clarification. I didn't know who was who. For better or worse, you can see me, so.
As people who don't know how to use their phone, their cameras on their machine. So the motion is be resolved that the board adopt the fee schedule for 2026 as tabled. So moved, second by Hilda. All those in favor? Contrary? Carried. Next up, we have our budget 2026, the balanced budget for 2026 that was discussed at our executive meeting Monday night. Blending together. Busy week. So we're 2026 budget is balanced at $11,512,717. So Craig, I know you've got a PowerPoint presentation to show everybody. 45 pages long. We'll get through it over the next hour. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Craig, if you want to run through the budget. I know it's a copy of it in your
Copy of the presentation.
your binders, but I thought it'd be a good idea for Craig to run through some of how we arrived at those numbers and how he and staff got there and things we've cut out of the budget and things we've added into the budget and how we arrived at that number. So Craig, yours goes.
Cole's nose, sorry. Cole's nose. Okay, so as the chair said, the total revenue and the total expenses are both 11,512,717. It's a slight increase of about 0.24% from 2025. Here's our major expenses broken down. So salaries, so curbside waste collection accounts for over 45% of our total expenses. Salaries are about 2.2 million. Regional operations, which include the waste recovery facilities, are pretty close to $1 million. Capital expenditures, which was one of the reasons why the budget you see when you're voting, is there's going to be an amended budget for 2025. Because 2025 budget didn't have or after you approved the 2025 budget originally, we then went down to the towns about the bulk. So then majority of the towns went with 225, which caused a material difference in revenue. And then since the approvals of the capital expenditures, there's material differences in expenditures. So hence why we had to amend the 2025 budget. Okay, so benefits and insurance related to salaries, and then the curbside waste collection accounts for 45%, like I mentioned. Don't mean to talk fast, but trying. Back to capital. The work development this year we did. We're doing Whitburn shortly, and we did Babels, and so that was 200,000. Regional equipment, we had the first payment for the trucks that you paid for, and so that's going to total out to be eventually, once it gets completed, about 1.4 million. So this year and last year, or this next year and then this year, we added on about 700,000 for capital that we didn't have in there for the original 2024 budget. 2025 budget. Operational costs. This breaks it down a little bit better in the general terms. OpEx expenses, which includes rent, telephones, all your general stuff. 351 transportation and communications. That's some of the professional services, but also computers and that kind of good stuff. Property and equipment, 142 community initiatives, which is we're changing it a little bit. We didn't spend the whole budget this year on HHW. So we're going to rename it a little bit and see how that goes if there's interest. And so ultimately what it says is stable year-over-year costs. So if you look at the 2025 versus 2026, the majority of the expenses are at best 2-3% increases. So it's almost a carbon copy from one year to the next. And the idea behind that is to keep a status quo until, say, government gives us extra services or whatever. So we're trying to keep the budget tight, make sure that we can provide the services to efficiently as possible. Expenditures by source, you can see that you're not gonna be able to see how the fine print, but I can send this out later on. The big one is the curbside. Okay, so revenue. So we have three main sources of revenue. We've got Clarendon transfer station fees, which takes into account all the waste coming from Clarendon area. Regional landfill tipping fees derived. That's what we take from St. John's. That stays at 4 million, and the waste collection fees go up to 5.9 because of the 225. The Clarendon transfer station tipping fees went up, are going up slightly to match the 2.2 tip fee increase from the city of St. John's. So it's kind of an in and out for us. Revenue by source, you can see that over half of the revenue comes from user fees that we take from both towns and from individual properties. So year-over-year changes, overall budget increase was 0.24%. Notable increases, salaries increased by 3.6%, which is the cost of living allowance that we allow for. Site maintenance went up by is going up by 6.7% to adjust for any additional renovations or improvements that we made. And then the bulk collection has gone up a little bit to better reflect actual expenditures. The bulk has been pricey, to say the least. Also, a notable decrease is vehicle maintenance and operations. I dropped that by about 11%. Reason being is because we had one truck in Whitburn that wasn't being used, but also once the new vehicles come online in Clarendon, the fuel will go down, and by right, they should have less expenditures. So, and the couple of current trucks out there that are going to be shunt trucks, things like that, so they won't be used as much. So you'll have the more efficient trucks being used to bring material across the highway. Key takeaways for the budget: the budget remains balanced and stable. Strategic cost control and operations, that everything remains roughly the same from one year to the next. Continued investment in waste management infrastructure, and then revenue streams are constant and reliable. We've taken for the last couple of years, the 4 million have stayed the same, and for the last 2 years, those up until we changed it to the 200th, we went to 225 because of the bulk, but up until then it was 180 for how many years? It was 10, 12 years. So revenues, even with the slight increase with the per household rates, had remained reliable and steady. Any questions?
Any contracts coming up in 2026?
Three.
Do we anticipate any issues with them, or should they all be back?
There's one that must go to market.
Yeah.
The other two do not have to, so they'll.
The 6 those?
Yeah, we can. We'll do a cost benefit analysis on the side.
So we'll work together closely in order to figure out if timing, that's, anticipated, let's see, it could be the market, why all of a sudden you might get 6 or 7 extra people that so let's go to market and get a better deal, so.
Sorry, anybody else?
I just had two on that. I just had some notes. I don't know if we even got to it yet, but the bad debts, we got to that yet? Cause I know that we budget like 90,000.
Bad debt's 90,000.
So it was way more than that. Was it way more than that?
It was the amount written off was 200 something, but it's a cumulative, the 90 is just a cumulative that the auditors advise, and people, that's the amount that we put in based on what they was.
Some of the debt,
Some of the debt might not be.
some was from years ago, 10 years ago, that no chance of collecting it.
Yeah.
And having it on the books was a false economy, so we looked at it with, you're not gonna go and take a 90-year-old senior to a court because they owe you 200 bucks, so.
No, but you're recording 90,000 every year.
Yeah, you gotta leave some in there because there is some people that don't pay their bills.
We do write off quite a bit. We have a lot of people who owe us a lot of money. Plus, we're under ministerial directive where we can't, when we find a customer and hasn't paid us, we can only go back 5 years, even though we're picking up the garbage for 10 or 12. So we have some limitations on what we can even achieve by going to court. So we have to write off a portion of that debt as we go.
So it's your question, are we allocating enough or are we allocating?
Correct, that's why I'm just wondering if
Right,
it's,
that's,
if it's 2.5 times more.
right.
Then 90,000 is probably not enough, that just,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like, it's no good showing a loss, but then it's really
Yeah.
more than that.
yeah,
In the past, I don't think I've hit the 90.
no,
It's kind of
It
a,
fluctuates.
it fluctuates. Like last year was a particular year where we actually put a concerted effort to try to get rid of some of those accounts. And that's why it went so high. But this year, I think, I don't think we've.
yeah, we wrote up, we looked at the worst accounts that we had and the highest outstanding balances last year. And assessed whether or not they're actually collectible. We had accounts in the name of, you know, in the estate of Joe Blow, you know, so, and that had been sitting there for 10 years. Any invoices sent out were returned, so we weren't, there's no address to mail an invoice to. So those are the accounts that the auditor recognized if that was put at such a large amount. They're gone now. We don't foresee, like, the worst that's ever taken care of or written off. Or what we've deemed uncollectible, yeah.
It was misstating our revenues, basically, you know, it
Which
was,
is your point, right?
yeah,
You're putting out 200, but 90 enough coverage.
yeah, 90, I think is reasonable there now.
Yeah, I would go forward.
On a go forward basis, yeah. And again, in 10 years' time, they may have to clean it up again, but right now, 90 is reasonable.
Well, so just to jump on that though, that should not happen in 10 years' time, so it should be a policy where, you know, every 2 or 3 years. You should do a deep dive, in the city, we don't allow that to happen anymore, so 5, 6, 7 years, right? So
Yeah,
maybe you take away, create a policy that it's like, if you're getting return mail, if you're getting states and all that stuff, we know it's not collectible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move the red off instead of carrying it.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to look at policy.
we can certainly refer that back to the finance committee, or that may be next time around, but
If
yeah.
people have a separate.
It's sort of-
Yeah, the debt.
Yep, not bad idea. Any other questions for Greg there on that? There are none, just as a note there too, as we all know, we purchased the building that we're in, and there is some rental income coming in from a portion of the building that we're not using that this day, so we're putting that into a separate fund, because at some point in 2026, we are going to have to knock down that wall, renovate the building there, put a lick of paint on the inside and clean it up a bit, so
I didn't include it
Yeah.
in revenues there because operationally it's not related to what we actually do. But when the discussions were had about purchasing the building, it was said that any rent that we bring in, we automatically put it to almost like a trust fund in order to just to make sure that there's enough there to cover up anything that might happen to the building. So that's where all of that's gonna go.
that's stuff that would not be covered by the condo association.
So, yeah, I understand that's part of your asset management, that when your asset management plan, will be saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none. Be it resolved that the board adopt the 2026 budget and amend the 2025 budget as tabled, so moved. Second by Bill. All those in favor? Contrary? Thank you. Next up, we have insurance policy renewals for cyber liability, commercial property, auto and commercial general liability insurance. Really exciting. Anyway, that's our insurance policy. I don't know if there's any questions on the insurance, Tom?
Just wonder what the deductible is on the cyber insurance.
Great.
Question.
So,
I'll find out for you, let you know more.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, I know you obviously, especially with your cards, you're concerned about it. But there's a catch-22 on what your exposure can be, right? Whether it's even worthwhile having, depending on the risk profile of what you're doing.
yeah, like personally, my company has cyber insurance because of what we do for nature of our business, but you know, the deductible, whether it's 1,000 or 5,000, it's not
But the
really.
city, it's like 100, so I just.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah, but
Or
I
maybe
think
it's even more than that. I
it's
don't
a
know.
worthwhile expenditure because there's a lot of people out in the world that just love attacking people that are, especially corporate groups like this that, you know, don't have.
Get access to people's information.
Yeah. Bill, do you have a question? No, okay, sorry, I thought, sorry, your hand.
Great.
Oh,
This briefing all reads, like, talks about 2025, not 2026.
Okay.
All the background discussion,
Oh, it should be 20.
2026,
I'm going 6, yeah.
well, then that minutes.
trying to confuse me.
Thank you.
But just,
We would never
Testing.
intentionally try to confuse you, Sam.
So only your iPad has that.
It's actually way down. Be it resolved that the board accepts the cyber liability policy, commercial property and auto and commercial general liability renewal from quotes from Wedgwood Insurance in a combined total amount of $173,674 plus HST for the period of September 1st, 2025 to August the 31st, 2026. So moved, second by Sandy. All those in favor? Contrary, carried. Yep. The Q2 financial report is there for your reading pleasures. Any questions for Craig on Q2?
Actually, I don't know if it's on Q2 again, I said some
Yeah.
notes, but Vardy Villas, like, or 50 grand. What's that for?
They have contracts with us for waste.
They collect waste in Smith Sound, that's our contract.
That's the name of the company.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah. I think Brady Villas is his company.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Any other question? Sure. CRA statement is there. Any questions? No. Occupational health and safety manual revisions are there. Any questions on that? Hearing none. Be it resolved that the board adopt and revise the revised ERSB occupational health and safety manual for 2025 update as tabled to meet the new requirements from Workplace NL. So moved, second by Tom. All those in favor? Contrary, carried. Thank you. Thank you, Craig, for all that hard work you put into that one. I know it's onerous trying to keep up to date on the WHSCC policies.
A lot of help, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, too. Waste recovery facilities winter closures. Once again, we're closing the Cavendish and Bell Island sites for the winter season. The only piece of this, then I know,
How we communicate.
we'll communicate it out through obviously the newspapers and channel and our point alert.
Yeah.
Are there any questions on those closures? The only one I would have, sorry, anyone have a question? The only question I would have, sorry, is the December 8th date. Can we not extend that to a little bit closer to Christmas?
We did last year, we ended up having to close anyway, because the wind chill was -7.
Yeah.
So it only raises the ire of people when you're closing it so close to them, it's closing it.
Can we not open it up till 22nd or 3rd and then just if it gets cold, we close it?
Yeah, like not every day is once.
No, they're only open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays,
Yeah.
it's 5 hours.
I did read that
last week.
No, that's not. No, the only reason I bring that date up is last year I had a call from one of the MHA's, Minister so-and-so over in Cavendish, right? Asking if we could extend the closure date, the actual closure date by a few weeks closer to Christmas because people were, you know, as he put it, buying new couches and chairs and stuff and wanting to get rid of their stuff just before Christmas. And the site was closed, they had nowhere to put it, and he was just concerned with that. And I guess what I'm saying amongst us is I don't know if I want to get that call again this year. So be easier.
Thursday, the 18th?
Yeah, perfect. So I would like to ask for an amendment to that date.
20th.
So a second by Larry. All those in favor of that date amendment? Okay, contrary, carry, thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
For the last time, it'll be fine. Be it resolved that the board closed the Bell Island and Cavendish waste recovery facilities for the over the winter months from December the 18th, 2025. I don't know what day of the week that is.
Thursday, December 18th.
Thursday, December 18th, 2025, and reopen on Saturday, April 11th, 2026. So moved. All those, seconded by Tom. All those in favor? Contrary? Carried. Thank you. The old Perligan waste facility contract needs to be extended. Finally got that one straightened out, and I'll thank you, Christie and Elaine, and whoever else is involved with going over and meeting with the gentleman who runs.
Twice we sat down with the contract.
Yeah, so he was having some issues with cards, understanding how they work, but I think we went over and explained to him the best we could. I think he's on
And there
board
was
now.
some members might recall there was some unacceptable materials that he was storing on our site. All that has been removed. So
Yeah, it was a little bit of a back and forth, but we got it done.
and he was very cooperative. I don't want to give the impression he wasn't. He was very cooperative.
In the end. Be resolved that the board issue a 1-year extension to this contract for the old Perligan waste facility contracting beginning October 1st, 2025 in the amount of $214,746, including HST. So moved, second by Glenn. All those in favor? Contrary? Carried. Thank you. Operations report?
Just a question,
Sorry.
okay, do they end up getting materials from Conception Bay?
Oh, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, Christy and I are working on, developing a plan for how and what, and the necessity of extra hours or things like that for the sites.
What I probably would like to do is at the end of the meeting, when we finish the business part of things, is go through what's gone on over there and just brief you all on what's been happening and what we've agreed to and what we've been told to do, and there's a whole bunch of missing moving parts for that. So if we can hang on to them, we'll fill you in on everything that's been going on since it started, I guess. Operations report Q2. Christine, is there anything there for?
No, there's nothing that stands out, at all, except for, vandalism. And vandalism, but everything else is, it seems to be consistent with year to year.
In the words of John Hagan, some asshole moved our concrete.
Acceptable.
Enough. But somebody actually took the time to move 2 Jersey bars out of the way, to drag a camper trailer in on our site. Then they beat up the 2 cameras there, took the SD cards out so we wouldn't catch them. When they could have just ran up to the gate of the thing and dropped it off because it was acceptable material. Like, I don't understand. But it cost us thousands of dollars to go over, move the Jersey bars back, buy more cameras. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with people. But Haggy summed it up pretty good. There's a bunch of people out there that.
Yeah.
Go under that category. Oh, geez, anyway. Okay, so this operations report. The only other one is Harbor Grace upgrades. We're postponing until spring, I guess.
So I was actually talking to, the potential contractor, because we didn't have entered an agreement yet, even though the board passed a motion. Given that the work that may have to occur to help the people in the, impacted fire area, the potential impacts to the site, it didn't seem reasonable to close the site or to deface the new work. So he has indicated that he could do late work as late as early December if conditions are good. So we'll wait and make the decision then.
So just to give you a heads up on that, if you're asking any questions, it's not that we're not doing it, we just had to push it off, just because we don't know what we're gonna be told to accept yet. And so it's,
We did not say.
those spend spending $100,000 and having to do it all over again. So. Okay, number 15, double axle trailer policy review for waste recovery facilities.
Should I sit between you?
No, Lynn and I have had some really good, strong discussions on this, because I am in favor of some sort of a policy in place to allow double axle trailers in. Lynn is on another team. But I think we're arriving at.
I'm on the team that keeps us staffed.
I'm on a team that keeps our facilities friendly. So somewhere between the two, we've agreed to agree, I think.
Yeah.
On coming up with a policy that allows double axle trailers in under certain. So it was recommended that the ban on double axle trailers remain in place till the waste recovery facilities access cards are in use for a while. I don't necessarily agree with that part, but anyway, and the board will reconsider lifting the ban on double axle trailers in the spring of 2026. Not so sure I agree on that either, but that's what's written here. So we're bringing it to the board as a discussion point because again, Lynn and I had many discussion on this, and I'm not a big fan of punishing everybody for the sins of a few. So back in the day, I know it's politicians make rules sometimes that don't make sense, and when they go back and review those rules, they tend to change them. They tend to or adjust.
Well,
So
it's not anybody in this room.
I'm just as bad as the rest of you, so I guess, at some point in time, these double axle trailers were banned because I think back when they first started coming around, most of them were used by contractors and developers, that sort of stuff. Over the years, over the last, since when, what was it, when was it in place?
2015, 2016.
2016, when they banned them. Over then, like, there's people in that have double axle trailers that are not contractors, they will never be a contractor, such as me, and I'm in the conflict of interest, but I'm gonna say it because I need to use something as an example. I have a double axle trailer that's 18 feet long that I move quads and snowmobiles in. I'm not a contractor. I don't haul commercial waste, never have, never will, not interested. Not interested in dirt inside my trailer. So I look at that and I say, how many others, and I think there's other people probably around this table that have skidoo trailers. I see Carl, I see you and anybody else, no?
I have one, my husband has one.
Your
We have
husband,
one.
yeah. So
I
I
just
think,
don't go to our sites.
I know because you go around and bakes, you're closer. Anyway. We'll spend the fight. So what I'm saying is, we've got to come up with something that's fair to the 90% of the people out there that are honest, law-abiding citizens that don't wanna screw the system over and they're not interested in causing a racket. There's that 10% of the John Haggies, assholes of this world that are commercial contractors, they're roofers, they're fishermen, they're developers, they're whatever they are, that are trying to sneak into our facilities instead of going around the bay and paying a tip fee. And I know you probably see them down there as well. I mean, there's guys that come up to your, I'm gonna call it the queue. I don't know what do you call that?
RDO.
The RDO. There's people that come up to the RDO because I've seen them down there with double axle trailers that, you know, dump their stuff there. So I think we need to come up with a policy as a board that's fair to the population that we serve, that doesn't make the staff want to quit. It doesn't inflate the situation that we've already got. Some of our facilities are a little tangier than others. Like, you know, I won't get into zones, but you know, some of them we have different types of people that live in the zone. So some of them are fishermen people, some of them are contractor people. So, but I just think that we as a group need to seriously sit down, have a look at this, and find a solution for those people who have trailers with 4 wheels on it as opposed to 2. Because I could go out tomorrow and buy an 18-foot or 17-foot, probably 16-foot trailer with 1 set of wheels on it that I could go into that facility with. Or I go buy a 17-foot with 4 wheels on it or 6 wheels on it and not go into it. So there's, you know, that part of it, I don't square it off easily, and I've picked that lane on this since I've been on the board
I know.
3 years ago.
And then just waiting for an opportunity to speak.
Oh, listen, if you're waiting for this, it's not talking.
Can I ask a question? Before we, just something that, the last time we discussed this, I think, was just before Christmas. Like, we had a discussion on
That's right.
that, that was before Christmas, Jesus, I thought it was later. So, Andrew, do we take double axle trailers in a residential drop off? We do.
I don't know if I should get involved with this.
You know what? Your worship, I will tell you, you do, because I was on Saturday, I saw them in the lineup, so just so you know.
Okay, that was a yes or no question.
Yes, you do.
Cause for debate, secondly. What, and this is the one that I never got to ask last time we talked about it, so let's say that we let double axle trailers in. What is gonna happen to the residential drop offs? Because they're allowed access that were,
I can tell you what happened historically.
yeah,
Okay, they came on site, they had mixed materials, so you might have had shingles mixed in with construction debris. Might have been a piece of furniture there, so that would be 3 separate areas you would go to drop those off, similar to your bins. They drove in the middle of the site, dumped the trailers, piled the garbage in the middle. Which then for safety reasons, we couldn't let any other users on site. The board incurred the cost of floating the backhoe to clean that stuff up. And that happened more than once, that happened on multiple occasions. And to this day, when they present, they are abusive to our staff.
so. Couldn't that happen with another type of vehicle, that stuff can happen?
Yeah.
Why is it just saying?
We,
Is it the dumper?
yeah, we don't allow any dumping on our sites. That was the experience in the past. What the staff will tell you, we've had a lot of these site attendants have been with us since these sites opened in many cases. They've seen much less commercial and business waste on our sites since the ban went in place. It's not that they're not in favor of dropping this ban on double axle trailers. What they've asked the board to do is to wait until the access cards are in place so that we can identify the abusive users who do show up with these trailers, because a lot of them get, I mean, they'll call, the site attendant will call Christie while the person's there screaming at them. And you can hear them in the background just, going crazy because they're not allowed in. It's not that they, when we discussed this with staff, like I said, it's not that they were averse to changing the policy. They're just asking for the access cards, which they feel then will, I guess, put some pressure on people to be more respectful when they present, because they have a card that will be scanned. And then we feel that then we could certainly do as the chair suggested, develop a set of conditions as you suggested, rather than just open the gates and say you can come in. Steve suggested that we put some conditions in place, and we're fine, we'll certainly work on that and be happy with that.
But just to answer your question, Danny, you're right. Whether it has two axles or one axle, there are trailers that don't, that have a single axle, there's trailers that don't, that have a double axle, there's trailers that don't, that have three axles. So the policy right now, as it sits, says double axle trailers, doesn't say anything about triple axle trailers, right?
Anything over a single axle is
Is
not
that
allowed
how it
outside.
reads?
Oh, how does it read?
Because I go in,
I gotta look it
if
up.
I went in with a triple axle trailer, which is, they're big, but they get, I go in dump, or also I can get a single axle dump trailer, and anybody who buys trailers knows, I can get a single axle dump trailer, which is again the same problem.
I'm always concerned about where it goes if it's not in double.
All right, hold on, his hands going up everywhere, so Danny,
I'm, on that note, I'm finished. Thank you very
Okay.
much for you.
I'm gonna go to Hilda and then Andrew and then Jason. Hilda.
I think in the case, especially in a site that's so far away from Rockville Bay.
Yeah.
I think that if the contractors, the license plate, which is not going to change for a dumping, if it's a license plate and if he's held responsible, say, you did wrong, he's gonna try to do the best he can, because he don't wanna travel over the highway.
Yes, that's
But
right.
the contractor's not allowed on our sites.
Yeah, we don't take commercial.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. If there was a set of rules in place that allowed them in, and if they don't properly, then
Yeah.
okay.
We're open
But if
to
you
that.
step outside, you don't come no more.
Hold that thought, because I want to get back to that one.
Yeah, now we're on to what I would really. like.
This is a 2026, 2027, 2028 issue, so we'll come back to that one. Andrew?
I just wanted to say that one, just like at our residential drop off, there's a couple of distinctions. We don't allow anyone to dump there either.
Right.
Because
Which
they were set up, right, you know what I mean, so you have to throw it over the barrier. And secondly is we have more staff on site, so we do have people that are belligerent, you know what I mean, but we have backup.
Yeah, yeah.
To help out the staff and that kind of stuff, so there is those distinctions, I will say that.
Fair commentary.
Yeah.
Jason?
So a couple things, the issues that have been raised are all personal choice issues. We're banning a trailer, but didn't do the thing, it's personal choices of people dumping around things, going out, dumping where they feel like they're personal choices where through the cards, we can penalise the person. But we're penalising a big broader group over personal choices that people choose that are not the norm, it's not the majority, it's minority of it. So I think like we're banning around things, to ban the person that's causing the grief versus banning the trailer topic as a whole. I think we're penalising around people. Secondly, we're a public service that services 30,000 residential customers. And as again, it's 500 people in the city, you let them come in, you got ways to get rid of them. People that are outside the city, it's a bigger burden to get rid of their stuff. And the more hard we make them to bring the garbage to where it still is, what do you think the garbage is gonna end up to? If we don't be cooperative and be a public service, which is supposed to be active and work with the public, that's who's paying for the service, collectively as a whole. A lot of money comes from the taxpayers. And we're gonna go in places where we don't wanna see, so when you're driving later around the country or in the place, you're gonna see the garbage in the woods, because they're gonna get rid of it. When a person loads up to a trailer, they're getting rid of it, whether it's in the dump or in the woods.
Yeah.
Again, it's personal choice. The more open we are, the more receptive we are taking waste. I think the goal is to collect the waste so it's dealt with properly and it's disposed of versus being out in other areas. So I just think that we gotta be more open and receptive to hearing people. And like Steve talked earlier, he gets 5 or 6 main complaints throughout the year. Why not try to eliminate some of those so that he's not bothered? If every time he gets complained, then there's more work for Lynn, more work for Christie, more work for someone else down the line. So I'm just saying that we can be adaptive and change to some of the things that will eliminate those issues. I think we'll come to a better place where more public will like us and they'll take one less there off Steve's back and off our back.
Yeah.
We both.
Oh, I don't mind the darts like the one, but what you're saying, look, I'm a big fan of policy. I'm a big fan of rules and regulations. I just think that as a group of smart people like we got around this table, we can come up with some rules and regulations and policies that don't put our staff in any jeopardy. That allow Christie and Lynn and the, you know, senior executive to run our operations smoothly. And again, allows us to go out into the communities and not get the darts thrown at us if we can avoid it at all times. Back in 2015, I just asked Holly to pull this up for me. So the motion that was moved was moved and seconded by Sandy and Sterling Willis at the time. The ERSB prohibit the use of double axle trailers from its waste recovery facilities effective January 1st, 2016. Residents may use single axle dumping trailers to enter the waste recovery facility site, but they may not tilt or dump the trailer to dispose of the waste, which to me, I agree with 100%. All waste must be removed by hand. Violators will be banned from accessing. So like this one, 12 months, doesn't mention 12 triple axle trailer. So I'm going to go more by triple axle trailer. Just
Turn your way.
but I guess what I'm saying, like,
They'll call.
look, you know, Lynn knows and Christy knows, I've had this discussion since I was appointed to the board 3 years ago. Because I have a double axle trailer. I filled it up with boughs and junk from my cabin in Middle Goldman, went to Whitburn, turned away. And that day I was like, I have no idea why I was turned away. I got 4 wheels in my trailer. Good policy.
Yeah.
To me, good, solid policy has to be fair to the majority of the people. I don't think this is fair to the majority of the people as it is written today. I think we have, Jill, I know Jill wants to say something there. I think we just need to review it, have a look at it and write some new policy. Jill, sorry.
Is there particular materials that were causing problems when you had the double axle? Is it like people continuously with shingles, so you needed a contract? Okay. That's one piece. The other one is when do they swipe the card? They swipe it before they come in.
Yep.
So if they were to come in and dump it in the middle of the site, there's someone there who has
There's no
their.
cards right now. They start in January coming.
Okay, well, say
Let's just start saying Jack.
in January.
Swipe your card.
Swipe your card,
Just
come
go in,
in,
just got double axle
dump it in the middle of the thing, there's staff there, they have my information off my
Yep.
card. We have clear communication put out before this, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, is it like, that's their strike, or maybe they're not allowed to use the facility anymore?
But if you remember back when we initiated the cards, the policy on the cards already has that mechanism in
Yeah,
place.
So you might have to say, if
So-
you're implementing a new change, maybe you might have to do some communication,
Yeah.
just to remind people on what they can and can't do with these.
Yes, now she did that with the card, because they have to say they agree to the terms and conditions
Right.
of the use of the site
Right.
and the policy, so
Yeah.
to accept the card. But right now, the cards aren't being used until January, so what the staff is asking is
Right.
we just wait this decision
Yeah.
until the cards are in use, and we can identify, at this point, anybody can show up, we don't know who they are. And we got more Charlie Browns and Donald Ducks visiting our sites.
Okay, right, so you're in the bracket.
Yeah.
All right.
Could we issue a different?
That's one of the things we
card
talked
for a
about.
contract?
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes, absolutely.
No, we don't,
No.
our certificate of approval does not permit us to accept any commercial business rates.
Today. Hold that thought, Jason.
Yes, it's a couple of statements, but one that's cards not being used now means not totally accurate because
No.
people are still.
Yeah.
taking them.
They're not mandatory.
No, that's fine, but again,
Yes.
to motivate people to get the card, if we had the system in place and policy in place that basically you need swipe to use the trailer.
Okay, so they are swiping cards now.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I
10% of users are showing up with a card, that's it, at this point.
Now,
That's a different problem, when people don't get that, that's another circumstance. Again, if you want a trailer, and you wanna use the trailer, you have to have your swipe card. If you don't swipe, again, we can return it if you don't go down that road. I'm just saying, rather than wait several more months again to kick it into another quarter, but again, it's a way to motivate people to get the cards, because that's the goal, we want everybody to have a card, right? And a lot of people that use trailers, they will get a card because now they can go to the facility.
Yeah.
So I think there's motivation there that we can bring out. more
it's a
people.
part of a good communication strategy, just roll this out now saying, hey, by the way, if you get your card by January 2nd, you can use double axle trailer as long as you're not a commercial user, right, or something along that line.
We're gonna change this over in January, right? It's only 3 months away.
It's up to you, you're the board.
But if we're gonna change this over in January, and it's only 3 months away, we're gonna keep our staff happy. Can we just delay? I mean, this is for 3 months, it's not a lot, I'll say.
It's been a thorn to a lot of our facilities.
Well, but
And
you
we're
said
just
we were coming in
struggling with
January.
staff.
Only is Jack, but just like, it takes time to build a policy, it takes a committee to go in and sit down and look at this and agree on what the rules are going to be. So if we don't put it on the books as a committee agenda, and here's what we're doing, and that's why I want to bring to the entire board, some of you will be back. some of you will not be back. So whoever's on that committee that's gonna decide what we're gonna do here, somebody's gotta write policy on this, someone's gotta give staff clear and concise direction. Somebody's gotta go out and meet with all the different, the 10 different facilities that we operate and say, here's what we're doing. Here's what's gonna protect you as an employee. Here's what's not gonna cause you grief at the gate, yada, yada, yada. Tom.
So as someone who's been a business owner forever, bearing in mind that every Fisher person who has an enterprise is a business owner, so technically a lot of stuff that they would generate will be commercial, very much.
It is.
Yeah, like I can see both sides of this. There's times I go down, I have a sticker for my truck, and I'll take my double axle trailer down into the landfill. Don't like being down there, obviously, for a whole bunch of reasons. And I've got a bunch of stuff. There's other times that there'd be stuff in my house, like take the truck, there's no stickers on it, it'll, like, you know, it doesn't have to scan, so I'll go both sides. But I know the challenge that we're dealing with, and I understand that a lot of commercial businesses, they charge to haul everything away. And if they're further away, the more they're charging their clientele. And so, I mean, if we were gonna accept commercial, business needs to pay for it, but most likely they're charging for it anyways. I understand all the challenges, and I understand that, but someone can throw the stuff in the truck and throw it out too, doesn't this, the trailer becomes a bit of mute, so I see both sides of it, I understand the complexity of this. I like the card idea because. But also, we only have one person working. And you're still gonna have the drama of now they're banning that person when they come back to say, I mean, I understand this is really like a no win, but I understand Steve's point, so I think that what we need to do is do what you guys are compromising to do. We can always revisit it, if it's a disaster, 3 months, 4 months down the road. Yeah.
But Tom, go back to Hilda here now, and I don't wanna beat this thing too far much longer, but going back to what Hilda said earlier. One of the things that Lynn and Christine, Craig and I have discussed is when the new mandate comes in for all of you, and whether I'm still on the board or not, it's up to the province. We need to start looking at putting scales at the various facilities to allow some commercial. And, you know, I don't think we need to put a scale at Bay Bulls. I don't think we need to put a scale at, you know.
That's not gonna work.
Well.
Because now you're treating one group of people different than another.
Okay, so we put scales of all of our facilities, and then we allow some of those commercial people in, charge about a tip fee, and then we recoup our costs that way.
So, yeah, it's a good idea.
You know, so I think, but I.
Central and Western has scales at their sites, but everybody pays.
Yeah.
That includes residents as well. There's no free drop off anymore.
Yeah.
That would be the fairest way to do it across the board, then we'd be in line with the rest of the island as well.
But I didn't
Different
want,
rate for commercial? Or
Pardon me?
same rate?
they say,
Different rate?
everybody pays,
Everybody's same
but I
per
didn't,
kilogram.
I didn't have the time limit in my mandate. And you guys didn't have time limit in your mandate to go down that road yet.
Well, that's part of it.
But I think that's something that this board needs to look at going forward, because it would ease the burden on our staff, it would ease the burden on our
Employees.
employees, it would balance things out a little easier for us. Then when that person shows up with a double axle trailer, we're full
Doesn't
of
matter.
shingles, doesn't matter because they're paying by the ton anyway. So we'll have that fight with them at the gate, right?
And
But,
then what the municipalities pay would go down, logically.
well,
No,
they're
funding comes from.
any,
Supposed to profits with.
yeah, but
We don't take regular garbage.
like curbside would go to Robbie Bay, but I'm talking like, you know, Joe's or Jane's.
Contract.
Not roofing.
Yeah, but someone's subsidizing what happens at these drop off.
Yes.
So whoever subsidizing, we're gonna charge people
Tiffany's
for.
at Robin Bay is what's paying for these facilities right now.
So
100%.
just for easy math, so if it's $100 at Robin Bay for tip fee, it'd be $100 at the wharf. They paid $100 and then.
Plus the transportation.
Yeah, then it's, you know, balanced out at the end of every quarter, or whatever. But that's something that's not on the agenda for today. That's not even a topic of conversation for today. But that's something that Lynn and I and Christy and Craig have been talking about for 3 years now. But again, it's not something that, you know, for today, it's for the next crew that comes on here, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think we should.
But it levels the playing field across the
Yeah.
province for everybody.
so I just want to give some clear direction to staff, because I think it's important that we, before I'm done, and again, I don't know when I'm gonna be done, so, but I know I'm here till, is it June?
June,
I'm here till June, after that, I don't know, but I would like to get this finished before you all go, well, not you're all back, somewhere you're back. But before I go, I'd like to get something in place for the policy, so what direction I'd like to give staff is that they work on a policy to bring to, back to us by the end of September. October,
I wait till November for.
November?
Yes, that's it.
So, but can we work on that between now and November?
Staff will work.
Yeah, so like get the policies in place, get the agreements done, get the understanding there, so that when you all come back. On the agenda of whatever committee it will be this policy, you guys will agree or disagree or make amendments to it. And then we can, so that would be, what are we talking about, end of what? November. So that would give us October, November, so November, that would give us November, December roughly, and a bit of January to roll out some sort of strategy through communications that starting January 6th with the use of a card, you have to get a special card to use it, so you can use your dump trailer, here are the rules and regulations. You come at I don't know how many of these dump trailers are out there, are these double axle trailers, probably a couple hundred. So you sign off on you agree that this is what it is. And you can go in there, you dump once in the middle of our parking lot, you're done. And that's it. Gives Lynn and Christine Craig time to tell the staff what we're doing, so that it's clear to them, and it gives us time to put it in place.
Sounds good.
Good with that?
There were some conditions listed on the brief now.
Yeah.
I guess that's a starting point.
Yeah.
That's part of the discussion.
Definitely.
Yeah, the comment one there on the restriction based on length of trailer, again, we're being punitive because of a certain length.
Yeah.
Sites are only so big, that's the other thing, so we'll have a look at
We
how,
can talk about all that.
yeah.
I
They gotta be able to move around on the sites with other users, with another user.
Like,
yeah, but
how we get in, how we get out, that's the first drive, no different than we go up these roundabouts.
Yeah.
But happy people like John's can't get around roundabouts, right?
No,
Then how they get there.
roundabouts in Mount Pearl.
as all part of the discussion that we will have, and that committee can deal with
Again,
it.
just a user to.
Maybe it's an overall, length overall, or something, I don't know. Anyway, we'll,
Oh,
that's,
we'll look at our sites to
Yeah.
see what we can
Yeah.
safely move around a site. These sites aren't, they're just, you've seen them.
all right.
Whitburn's big, the others aren't.
Not everybody has
necessarily
a trailer either, like,
No.
That's where you in personal space.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be guinea pig, I'll take mine for a test run if you wanna go try it.
All right, we'll take up on that.
I got a load of garbage, so you
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, working out pretty good.
Oh, no, it is what it is.
Our three and a half year fight is coming to an end, Lynn.
I see it, and well, it's come to an end, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Sounds
Fair enough.
Just in time for the provincial election.
Asset management plan update,
Problem with changing, like I said, as long as
it's gotta be fair.
it works and we don't lose staff.
I'm sorry, does iPad, phone or Ophelia have any questions on any of that? None? Okay.
Not sure if you explained it well. None for
Was
me.
that?
All good.
No, all good. Okay, thank you. Asset management plan update. Any questions on that? Hearing none. We finalized purchase of the building. We all knew that, so we're now the owners, so.
Trust.
Hmm?
And we made it.
They made deposit on trucks, new trucks, so they'll, when they come here, in a few months,
Year usually takes.
a year, okay. Not our export problem. Sorry. Regional wastewater water operators report, 19 communities are still on board. How many are boiled water now?
13.
13 boiled waters.
Yeah.
Boys, I tell you, anybody know anybody over in the government? Cause I'm telling you, if they just gave us the freaking money, we could probably get some of that resolved. I don't know what's wrong with it, anyway.
A lot of the communities, our water tech is assisting and consulting with them on a regular basis. But a lot of them don't have the resources in that they don't have the money to pay for the infrastructure and or the labor after to maintain the system. So that's where it falls down.
Listen, these are complex systems. They're not just, you're not turning on a tap, turning off tap.
Not anymore.
Mark, I was following some crap down,
Yeah.
some stuff down in the Pooch Cove. I think you guys were having, you got 3 people that are qualified to do the water service down there. And the residents were going, like, we have nobody here to do the work. Not true, so.
Yeah.
Ophelia, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no worries. This weirdly is something I can speak to a little bit. You said if I've got contacts in the government, in the time that I was with the province for a couple of years and wound up doing some work on boil water advisories and particularly in Indigenous focused communities. I definitely get the sense that there is sometimes a little bit of a stall on that side. The number is obviously much more extensive than we'd like it to be. And I don't doubt that if we were given the resources, we could probably get a lot of those solved overnight, based on the efficiency that we're seeing here. But no, 13 is, it's not a great number, although I do believe I've seen it higher for the region in the past. So maybe we're going in a good direction here.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder if this summer is an anomaly because a lot of the water is so low, you know, and like you look at, I think it was Sunnyside lost their water there. If you look at the rivers, the Humber rivers, you can almost walk across with your neck and feet wet. So it's, could be part of that too, so. Anyway, hopefully it'll get it straightened out. We did get the $80,000 on an ongoing basis, so that's good news. Motion to ratify, Danny, I don't know, before you got here, there's, number 19, I was gonna put it over to you. You can do either a blanket recommendation for all those motions, or you can read them out each individually, so it's really up to you and whether you wanna get first step. There's, how many are there? There's a lot.
I think blanket sounds.
Well, that's a great idea. Boy, you're not one of those guys that hit yourself top.
Everyone else as well.
I don't mind hearing myself talk, I just don't think everybody else wants to hear it.
So if you'd like to make a blanket recommendation, so this will be for all things under 19.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any questions, we can deal with them, but you better not.
So many.
You gotta do blanket recommendation.
2 words, so moved.
Okay, so moved. All, backed up by Hilda. All those in favor? Oh yeah, any questions on any of them? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Number 9.
All those in favor? Motion carried?
You're out of court.
Thank you. Thank you for your understanding, folks. I know that's a, a lot of things.
I wouldn't want to hang up the oversized items collection.
Hey, look, some stuff's really important. Where are we here? Number. Correspondence, someone? Correspondence, no correspondence? Well, there's lots of correspondence.
There's lots, just that
So
big.
you wanna know what the ERSB staff and myself get emails on over on a Friday night is, how many bins can you have over in Western Bay on Saturday morning by 7 o'clock? And that's at 6 o'clock on Friday evening.
Yes.
When we don't know.
So we don't know the bins. And I will give Christy full credit, she got the bins over, I don't know where she got them from, but I think she's found every bin in the province to go to the.
Personal building.
Anyway, so under new business, I will actually turn over the floor to Christy, because I wouldn't mind getting an update on, I know it started with time on Friday, it was Friday morning.
Yeah, so, I was contacted Thursday afternoon for a meeting, 11 o'clock Friday. I didn't know exactly what we were gonna be asked or what we were diving into. But by the end of the evening, and it was fairly late, I stopped emailing accessible. By the end of Friday evening, we had, arrangements for bins to start rolling 6 o'clock Saturday morning. And we had bins in Burke Point so that residents could start returning home and addressing the food waste in their homes. Since that time, we have had bins in Burke Point, Perry's Cove, and Northern Bay, and
Semco.
no, not Northern Bay, Perry's Cove. Tomorrow morning, there will be bins in Over Pit and in, sorry, I'm just getting on blast. I forgot.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, Over Pit, Western Bay and Northern Bay. So that the food waste there can get addressed. We've, coordinated the CFC removal from the items and have started removing the fridges and freezers from Burnt Point. And we will be then moving to Perry's Cove and then to Over Pit, Western Bay and Northern Bay. There are lots of people working with various wastes throughout the region, but this has been our ask to date. We've been working with Robin Hood Bay. And Andrews has been wonderful in trying, and we've been looking at the difference between fire waste and hurricane waste and how that works together. We've been working with the Provincial Emergency Operations Center, the Department of Justice and Public Safety, Environmental Sciences Waste Management. We've made offers to also work with water testing department, the department that sees that through our water tech. And we've worked with the contractor at Harbor Grace to delay that, and he will honor his advice when we decide to move forward.
So I would like to take a second to say thank you to Christy and Lynn and all those involved from our staff point of view. I know it was a weekend that you missed with your family. We did a lot of good over in that neighborhood over there. I should say Christy did a lot of good over there. She used her relationships that she has built over her time with us. And none of the contractors were contrary to what we were trying to do, with the exception of one, which we will deal with later. But there was people that said, whatever it is you need done, we will do. And that's testament to how you treat the contractors, I think, these people are in a hard way, and, we do get, pins thrown at us and knives thrown at us over the years, but sometimes when you hear this kind of stuff, it makes all that stuff go away pretty quick. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving up your time on the weekend. I know it was a sense of pride for you. It's a sense of pride for the board as well. So thank you to you and Kevin and the other staff that jumped on board.
And the contractors, there's no doubt, like we mentioned Barney Villa earlier, I called Dennis at 6:45 on Saturday night, and he had a truck rolling for me 8 o'clock Sunday morning.
From Claremont.
From there,
Yeah. So that's the kind of relationships that we do have with our contractors. And I know, Glenn, I think Victoria was having some struggles over there because a lot of people moved over to Victoria. And we accommodated a double bag pickup in Victoria and Carpenter, I think, and a couple of other towns over that way that.
And we continue to work with the town of Victoria.
Yeah, so we've, we've stepped up. Staff have stepped up. Chrissy has particularly stepped up, so thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Steve,
Yeah,
so are we doing any comms on any of that, like giving credit to contractors, or should we be doing it? Cause I know you guys have a lot of that, or we have a lot of that presses at a time, maybe to get some good press, I'm just, without being exploited.
yeah, the province is looking after most of that stuff.
They don't like you.
Mayor Breen and I have chatted a little bit about it, but I don't know where we arrived at that. Maybe someday. But
I think it's a good story to tell.
yeah,
But it's part of the bigger story.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody can tell that bigger story, because I think the whole response into this has been nothing short of incredible. And the stories will start to come out after.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's something, given our size, given specifically what we're doing, I don't think it's something like you could send out a press release and say, look what we just did in this corner. But hopefully through the government and the Emergency Operations Center, we can become part of that.
we'll get a pat on the back. I guess struggle I have with it, you don't want to go out when people have lost everything they've owned and go and say, hey, look at us, look what we did, like that's. But, it was phenomenal that Christy took the time away from her family on a Saturday and a Sunday and a Friday. Friday get paid for Saturday and Sunday, and again, pull in those favors. And I think, Andrew, you were, on some of that stuff too, weren't you? If I remember correctly. I didn't see your name on some of the emails floating around over the weekend. So, but again, it's a larger effort, and we just did our part. You did your part, mostly.
Well, maybe an email out to staff and to contractors, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe something, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, we can certainly draft something.
I think wrong.
I think,
Mary?
it's not an easy task to take those bids and deploy them out there. Have them, when they fill up, then to move them back in. There's a lot of time to declare them, and the other thing. This is a big operation.
We've moved 20 bins around since Saturday morning, 7 o'clock Saturday morning.
Yeah. The 20 bins is a fair bit of
River waste.
Fair bit of movement.
And you gotta remember what this stuff is. This is rock food. This stuff is not pleasant.
So I talked to a guy today who I thought him, he was in Job's Cove. A friend of his has a house and had 2 deep freezers in the basement. And they had no power for 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And you can just imagine the fish and the fruits and the berries and everything else that was down in those deep freezers.
He said that has been pleasant, so.
All right, so multiply that by
20.
That's just that, and that's not fire related, that's just loss of
Just
electricity.
lose the power. Yeah, you can't remember, 200 structures down, but everybody lost their power.
Everybody lost their power.
Apparently people were told when they like it, don't hold the fridge.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but some people open the fridges, so
Bridges have to.
they had to be open to get stuff out.
Okay.
Anyway, it was quite a massive undertaking and the fact that we pulled it off, and Christie pulled it off, I say we as a collective, because I say the board, Christie pulled it off. Thank you for that. Thank you to the board for being here. Round table, I'll start with Andrew. Anything, you want to say anything before you go? Before we go?
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Jason? Deputy Mayor?
John, like you were saying?
Personal, I asked it.
There? Danny? Lynn?
I just want to thank the Christian board. I know at first got a little bit rocky first, but it just, you know, you gotta realize it's just so much.
Yeah.
But we had a call that our community center was being taken over by FES. You know, and we had rentals and stuff that we had, you know. And our school was taken over by, you know, refugees. And there was just so much, you know, you can't realize, you know, even down to a bag of garbage, you know, when you've got all these people coming in, you know. So, you know, thanks for that and really appreciate it. So.
Thank you. Ophelia?
Thanks. Am I correct in saying that there will be no meeting next month?
That's correct.
Then this is the last time you'll be seeing me around the table. I think it is scarcely a secret that I'm not running again. Everybody around the St. John's table is aware of it, but I want to thank everybody here for the work you've put in over the last few years and for welcoming me into this one. I didn't think I was not aware this was part of the job when I took it. So it's something where I had no particular expertise, obviously, and I'm really grateful to the guidance and support that you've all given me over the last few years and trying to stay informed in this kind of stuff. And I can walk away saying I think I've learned a lot. And Steve, thank you to yourself in particular for taking over and for being a wonderful chair to work with over the last few years. It's been a wild ride, and I really appreciate everybody's friendship and support. Cheers.
Well, thank you, and I wish you the best of luck, whatever comes next. I'm sure we won't be hearing the last of you.
I don't go away that easily. I'm just.
Yeah, I know, you're a bit of a force.
It's not a question of fading away, it's just a question of realizing that I'm many things, but a politician is not one of them.
Well, fair enough, fair enough. Kevin?
No, all's good. It was a very good meeting, by the way.
Yeah, well, look at you, you're cutting in now. Greg is gone, I think.
Greg just texted me and hung up by accident, but he don't have any red flags, and he thanked everybody for
Okay, so, Mark?
No, just basically what Ophelia said, it was wonderful meeting all you guys. This could be our last, well, will be our last meeting, I guess, as a group. It was great work with everyone. Again, nice to meet everybody and work for the last 2 years. Staff as well, chair. It's been a pleasure to be here. And anybody who's running in an election again and needs to get elected and run in this board, just good luck with everything and hope everybody will in the future.
Thank you.
No.
Just an acknowledgement.
Mayor?
I can't. Just an acknowledgement.
Your worship of paradise?
Just an acknowledgement to staff again for the work that they've done over the weekend here with respect to what's going on in Conception Bay North, but a broader recognition to municipal staff in general. In the last couple of weeks, what has been transpiring throughout the province writ large with respect to wildfires and whatnot. I've seen firsthand the amounts of commitment and dedication of those municipal staff made to the well-being of our communities, but also, of course, to the firefighters and support staff and everybody who's been involved with wildfires. This too, win, lose, or draw on October 2nd, will be my last meeting with the Eastern Regional Services Board. I will not appoint myself to this committee if I'm successful on October the 2nd. So huge thanks to again staff, everybody around the table. Has been an immense pleasure to be working with you over the last 4 years, and I wish you all the best for those of you who are running in the upcoming election, and for those of you who are stepping aside. Thank you for your service.
We look forward to working with you as mayor of Town Paradise.
Two things. First thing is, of course, the city and the region, and I guess the whole province just went through the incredible the summer games with all the challenges that they all faced, and the volunteers of all our communities. And I imagine the volunteers that drove in from all over, definitely eastern Newfoundland, but probably farther.
Yeah, over Canada.
Yeah, so, again, kudos to the province for pulling it off with the challenges that were going parallel. And pick up on something that was in the report about the fact that recycling is actually stagnant basically, or even going down. So I do think we all need to make an effort within our councils to be singing that, especially at election time. And be putting more peer pressure on our residents and our businesses too as well to do more recycling, really desperately do. Thank you.
Same
sentiments, that I'm hearing here. We're no idea what we're gonna look like after the elections, but this is an incredible board. A lot of good work. To mirror what Larry's saying and some other people have said here, some good work by staff, there's a lot of good work done in municipalities. And for me, myself, getting to work with you all over the last several years, this was all unknown to me before that. So there's a lot of good work being done here. We need to keep that trumpet, that message going forward over and over. People don't realize just how sincere people are here. Well, most of us. But people like yourself and your sincerity that's being shared here in the board is very important here. And people do not realize how good you guys are. Staff in particular. So this has been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Beat that.
I was gonna say vote for Bill, but.
We can't.
Consider it done. No, just not read your shirt.
Yeah, I'm good. All right.
Jump. Anything? Your worship?
Just as we were talking about that, recognize the different things that are done and how communities work together. I just mentioned how we, as a board member of MNL, excuse me, I think MNL should do something like we were talking about, how communities collaborate in this province. Because there's a lot of great work done. If you just look, as Tom mentioned, the summer games, and you look at the way that Paradise and Mount Pearl at great expense to your own budgets and CBS, and what you did in putting together events, the volunteers that came from each of the communities, you look at dealing with the wildfires. You look at the volunteer fire departments, the St. John's Regional Fire Department. There was a whole lot of people that put that work together. And you look at the Eastern Regional Services Board, just think about it for a second. How many of us were on the table around one of those 13 boil orders? None of us. But we're putting the staff together to help other communities who are having boil order issues. And if we didn't do it, and if the service board never did it, it wouldn't be done. So I think there's a story here that doesn't get told enough about how communities in this province come together and help find a common good and are there to help each other out when they need the help. And Christy and the staff here have showed that in going above and beyond. And it's comforting to know that if you got a problem, your neighbors are going to be there to help you through it. So I think it's a good story, and I want to take it up with them and know how we need to tell that story better, and so that people understand when they see communities and the work that communities do in the province, mainly through volunteers.
Well said.
Great.
Oh, I think, thank you for the last 4 years and we shall have.
Holly,
Same thing he said.
go ahead.
I did forget to mention one thing, in the board's efforts to ensure that everyone had equal, responses to the disaster. We made no difference in if you were in receipt of regional waste collection services or not. And if you were in the area and impacted, the reply was all the same, right throughout. And also wanted to mention that Andrew pulled together a interprovincial group, again, helping to give us some guidance on how to address the material that comes in, the potential volumes, and that it's not just waste. Every time someone is talking to you and has been impacted, their emotions and their backgrounds are also there with them. And that it's really they communicated that it's also really important to understand that. And that this often has lasting impact 2 and 3 years later. We'll still be hearing these background to their stories.
Sure. Okay. Well, I think, thank you so much for the, thanks to the staff, and I will certainly, Christine, I pass your gratitude along to the staff back at the office and staff behind the scenes, like our Kevin and a few of the others. I want to thank you as a board for your support over the last 4 years, working with me and the senior management team, Craig and Christy. It has been a pleasure getting to know, some of you were here for, like Sandy. I've been at Glenn's been around for quite some time, Hilda as well. But some of you came in, Jason, you're relatively new, Mark, Larry, Carol, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you and to work with you. And I wish you all the best, whether you run again or not. Wish you all the best, whatever you do.
Thank you. And last but not least, certainly me. Listen, this is a great board. Thank you very much for your guidance and your opinions and your feedback and the kind of off the site conversations that we've had. You know, the staff are awesome beyond what you really know and think. I know sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's not. Sometimes Lynn and I actually fight a lot. But we always come to a resolution.
I'm not fight, but I think we have good debates.
Good debates, yeah. But we always come to a good resolution.
Yes, it's respectful.
Yeah. So, you're all on the board till you're replaced, by the way, just so you all know that. I don't know if you recognize that or not, but until there's new council in the city of St. John's and the mayor appoints you back, or wherever it is, you're on the board. And if you're not on it, you're still on the board. So if there is a meeting that needs to happen, you might be back, so don't get too comfortable. Anyway, best of luck to those running again. I hope at some point in time in the new year, remember, October, I see you all back there, and you're all, what you are, mayors or deputy mayors or councillors or chairs of LSDs, whatever brings your way. The biggest thank you I have is for your friendship. A lot of you I knew over the years, a lot of you I just got to know, so I appreciate that part. And like I said, it's business. But at the end of it, when you're on the road or somebody's in a restaurant, you're sitting in the bar, you're having a drink, or you're having a chat, it's that friendship that will always carry forward. So when I see you at the mall or I run into you on the street, we can still have that chat and that conversation. So I wish you all well. Thank you for those who are not coming back. Your service is not unnoticed, so I appreciate that.
How much pension do we get?
Your pension is 100% of nothing. But and before we all take off, I wouldn't mind if we could get a picture, just for we could send that to everybody, but no, you're good. If we could get a picture, that'd be great. Just before we go. So
I'll send you.
with that, I will ask motion to adjourn, second by Tom, all those in favor, aye, country carried.
Thanks for the same short.
Sure.
Thank you.
Check with his wife.
No, I imagine.